it looks like a server scale MacBook. I think engineers are asymmetrically exposed to just bad things to breathe because of the equipment that we have to use. My name is Mohith Mothukuri. I'm an engineer, hardware designer. I build drones, robots, cool stuff. I think if you're doing rapid prototyping, you obviously will have an electrical station, right? You'll be soldering things, using heat guns. We have plenty of 3D printers in here. Legitimate lab might also have like a laser cutter. All of these things release all sorts of fumes that are not good to breathe. I think when you get into more high-end facilities, I mean, obviously you have like, woodworking, CNC machining that generates particulates. If you're doing anything like MJF or powder sintering based 3D printing, that aerosolizes like tiny particulate matter. I think engineers are asymmetrically exposed to just bad things to breathe because of the equipment that we have to use to do our jobs. There is like an important problem here, especially if you're building a company in a city like LA or San Francisco. A lot of these buildings are not built with industrial HVAC. Some of this HVAC is very antiquated. Manufacturing is ramping up in many places in America. There are companies doing defense and robotics, scaling, for example, data collection for robotics, scaling the manufacture of aircraft and ships. They're welding, they're grinding, they are running these like industrial 3D printers. They're doing composite manufacturing. There's all sorts of particulates, all sorts of glues that generate all sorts of things that are not good to breathe. A good friend of mine from India, also building a very cool company, he introduced me to Angad. And I immediately realized it's like, this is a problem. Like we have this problem every day. I was just very excited to learn more and to get my hands on one as soon as possible. Passive installed them near laser cutters and near my desk where I did a lot of electrical rework. We had a separate room for air compressor and a bead blast cabinet. We were primarily bead blasting plastic parts that come off from a 3D printer. So lots of particulate dust that comes into the air. Cool thing is that you'll see like real-time data from the app that shows you like how these things change and how the particulate values will go up. When we're in the laser cutter, the VOCs get very high. When there are lots of people in the office, midday and there are meetings happening, people are talking, the CO2 levels go up. And it's like useful to know these things because they just tell you like what is affecting what. And if not for like quantitative metrics, it's telling you qualitatively how things are changing with respect to time. And then, you can also change things like operating modes. And so like when we started using the laser cutter more often, we would change operating modes before and after operating the machine. And these are all things that we like have made a measurable difference. Before we had the hives, like when you were running the laser cutter, cutting like basic acrylic, you would smell it. You could smell it from like literally the other side of the office. If you entered the office, which is probably like 100 feet away from where we sit, you could smell it. With the hives on and the highest operating mode, you won't be able to smell it at all, even when you're running like, very thick acrylic, for example. And so like that was the most like obvious indicator of how much it helps. I like the sleep mode. I like that it can have it just like turn off at a certain time of day. I also like just being able to look at historical data. Like you can just like scroll back and you can see pretty much anything. Being able to segment by rooms, that's a cool one. Mostly I think it just looks cool. Like when we install them, like people like come in and they're like, is that like a server rack scale like MacBook? Like, you know what I mean? Like it looks beautiful.